Right. So get ready because today we are going deep, deep into some universal secrets.
Yeah,
It's going to be a wild ride.
it is.
We're talking about, the 7 Hermetic principles, which basically give you a cheat sheet to understanding, like, reality itself.
That's right.
Have you ever had that feeling like there's got to be more to life that meets the eye?
Yeah.
These principles are like, they're going to blow your mind wide open.
Well, and the cool thing is they're not just like dusty old concepts.
Right.
They're so relevant to how we think and feel and even how we shape the world around us, even today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about this stuff. It's like, it's ancient wisdom,
Yeah.
but it feels so fresh and relevant to what we're all going through.
Yeah.
So, okay, principle number 1,
Yeah, let's do it.
the principle of mentalism.
Okay.
Now, this one's a little bit wild.
It is.
It basically says all is mind, meaning everything we experience as reality, it's like actually a mental creation.
It's all a projection. Yeah. So picture this. The universe, it's like this giant thought, a projection of what's called the universal mind.
Okay.
And we're all like these tiny sparks of that mind, all connected on a deep level.
That is so wild. Okay.
It is.
It's making me think about those times when I'm like feeling totally connected to nature.
Yeah.
Or during meditation. It's like everything is vibrating in sync.
Absolutely. And it's really cool.
What?
Modern science is starting to back this up.
Really?
Yeah. Think about the double slit experiment.
Okay.
In quantum physics, right? It basically shows that just by observing something,
Okay.
we actually change its behavior.
Whoa.
Even at a subatomic level, our minds are influencing reality.
That is mind-blowing.
It is.
Okay, so if that's happening on a tiny scale,
Yeah.
what could it mean for our everyday thoughts and intentions?
Mm-hmm.
Are we like shaping our reality without even realizing it?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with distractions.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Notifications and social media and just information overload. It's like our minds are scattered all over the place.
Right, it's like a disco ball.
Totally.
Yeah.
Makes it way harder to harness that power of focused thought.
Right, it's like trying to manifest your dream life while like scrolling through a million memes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do we actually reclaim that focus and start shaping reality the way we actually want?
Well, it sounds super simple, but meditation,
Okay.
it's key,
Yeah.
By quieting all that mental noise and tapping into stillness,
Mm-hmm.
we can actually start to direct our thoughts with more intention.
Okay.
It's like training your mind to be a laser beam instead of a disco ball.
I love that analogy. Okay.
Yeah.
So mentalism is all about recognizing the power of our minds.
Yes.
What's the next principle that kind of builds on this foundation?
All right, so next up we have the principle of correspondence,
Okay.
often summarized as above, so below.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it basically highlights that everything's interconnected, right? Like the universe, suggesting that patterns repeat across different scales.
So like what happens in the cosmos is reflected in our own lives? Is that what you're saying?
Precisely.
Wow.
Think about like fractals in nature.
Okay.
That same spiral pattern you see in a tiny little seashell, you can find it in a massive galaxy.
Oh, that's so true. It's like the universe is a giant mirror, like reflecting itself at every level.
Exactly.
So if our inner world is reflected in our outer experiences,
Right.
what does that mean for us?
Well, that's where things get super interesting, right? Because the principle of correspondence suggests that our thoughts and our emotions and even our beliefs, they create a kind of energetic resonance that shapes our reality.
Okay.
If we're constantly dwelling on negativity, we might actually be attracting more of it into our lives, right?
Okay, so that's a little unsettling.
It can be.
But it also feels empowering in a way, right? Because if we can shift our internal state to like one of positivity and harmony, maybe we can actually change the things we experience.
Absolutely. This principle invites us to like cultivate a sense of inner peace and alignment, knowing that it's going to ripple outwards and influence our experience.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these principles all fit together. Like each one builds on the last one.
Yeah, they're all interconnected.
So what's the next layer of this cosmic onion?
All right, so let's dive into the principle of vibration.
Okay.
This one's fascinating because it really aligns with modern science.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It states that everything in the universe is in a constant state of motion, vibrating at its own unique frequency.
So not just things that we can see and touch, but like thoughts and emotions too.
Exactly. Everything's energy, and energy vibrates.
So do they have like a vibe?
Yes, they have a frequency.
Yeah.
Think about like brainwave frequencies, right? Different states, like when you're relaxed or when you're focused, they have distinct measurable frequencies.
That makes sense. Okay, so if everything has a vibration,
Yeah.
is it possible to shift our own frequency to attract more of what we want?
That's the idea.
Like, could we literally vibe higher?
You got the principle of vibration suggests that by aligning our frequencies with, things like love and joy and abundance, we can start to attract those experiences into our lives.
Okay.
So practices like meditation, spending time in nature, even listening to uplifting music, these things can help us raise our vibration.
All right, so we're talking about the power of our thoughts, the interconnectedness of everything, and now the energy of vibration.
That's right.
It's like a whole new way of looking at reality.
It is.
I'm ready for the next principle. Bring it on.
All right, so let's explore the principle of polarity.
Okay.
Which encourages us to see opposites, not as enemies,
Okay.
but as two sides of the same coin.
I'm getting like serious yin and yang vibes here.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
You can't have light without darkness.
Right.
Hot without cold. Joy without sadness.
Right.
They define each other.
They're on a spectrum.
Exactly, not separate forces fighting each other.
Okay, so instead of trying to like eliminate, so-called negative emotions, maybe it's about finding that balance between the extremes.
Exactly. We can't fully appreciate the highs without experiencing the lows.
Right.
The key is to find that middle ground, that sweet spot, where we can hold space for the full spectrum of human experience without getting swept away by either extreme.
This is making me think about those times when I've like gone through something really tough.
Yeah.
And then even like the simplest things feel incredibly joyful afterwards.
That's the principle of polarity in action.
Right.
It's not about trying to live in this constant state of bliss.
Yeah.
It's about learning to embrace the whole journey with all its ups and downs.
Okay, so we're not supposed to like fear the negative,
Right.
but see it as part of like the whole
The whole picture.
This is already shifting my perspective.
It is a powerful shift.
So what's the next principle in this cosmic puzzle?
Okay, next, we're going to delve into the principle of rhythm,
Oh,
which reminds us that everything in the universe moves in cycles.
I love this one. It's like the universe is constantly like breathing in and out.
Yes.
Expanding and contracting.
Yeah.
Just like we do.
Exactly, and it's so evident in the natural world.
Right.
The changing seasons, the tides, the cycle of birth and death, it's everywhere.
And our lives are no exception.
No exception.
I mean, our energy levels, our emotions, even our creativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
All kind of ebbs and flows.
It's like a wave, right?
Yeah. It's so funny how we often resist those natural cycles.
Yeah, we do.
We try to like force ourselves to be productive and on all the time.
Yes.
Or we get stuck in like a rut
Uh-huh.
and wonder why we can't break free.
Totally.
So this is where understanding the principle of rhythm can be super helpful, right?
Right. Extremely helpful. It's about recognizing that those ups and downs are not only natural, but they're necessary.
Oh, wow.
They're part of the dance of life.
So instead of fighting against the current,
Right.
we can learn to like ride the waves.
Exactly. It's about finding that sense of surrender.
Okay.
Not in a passive way, but in a way that allows us to move with the flow.
Okay. I'm all for less resistance and more ease.
Yeah, me too.
But how do we actually apply this principle in real life?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like when I'm feeling like super low energy, it's hard to just go with the flow.
Right. Well, that's where mindfulness comes in.
Okay.
By becoming more aware of those internal rhythms, we can actually start to anticipate them and work with them.
Okay.
So, for example, if you tend to have like a slump in energy mid-afternoon,
Yeah.
you can schedule your most demanding tasks for the morning
Okay.
and then reserve the afternoon for, later activities.
That's a great idea.
Right.
So it's not about ignoring those cycles, but about like working with them intelligently.
Exactly.
Are there any other practices that can help us like tune into our natural rhythms?
Absolutely. Spending time in nature is one of the best ways
Oh, I love that.
to reconnect with those rhythms of life. Just observe the cycles of the seasons,
Yeah.
the ebb and flow of the tides, the rising and setting of the sun. It's a powerful reminder that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
I love that it's like nature's giving us a master class in how to like flow with life.
It is.
Okay, I'm feeling like more grounded and centered already.
Good.
What's the next principle that's going to like help us navigate this cosmic journey?
All right. So now we move into the realm of personal responsibility.
Ooh, okay.
With the principle of cause and effect.
Okay.
And this one often brings up like a lot of questions and even a bit of controversy.
I can imagine it's one that says every action has a consequence, right?
That's right.
So like no accidents, no coincidences.
Exactly.
Right.
And while that might seem super straightforward, it gets way deeper.
Right.
When you consider the multiple levels of cause and effect that are at play.
Okay, break that down for me.
Okay.
What do you mean by multiple levels?
All right, so think about this. If you touch a hot stove,
Yeah.
you get burned.
Right.
That's like a very clear cause and effect.
Right.
But what about the events that are less clear-cut?
Okay.
Like a sudden illness,
Yeah.
a job loss, a relationship that ends out of the blue.
Right. Those are the times when it's like easy to feel like a victim of circumstance.
Sure.
Like, why is this happening to me?
Exactly. And while it's totally valid to feel that way, the principle of cause and effect kind of invites us to look deeper.
Okay.
Like, what thoughts, beliefs, or even past experiences might be contributing to our current situation?
So are you saying that on some level we're responsible for everything that happens to us?
Well, that can be a tough one to swallow, right?
It is.
But it's not about blame or guilt.
Okay.
It's about understanding that we're not just passive observers in our lives.
Right.
We're active participants in shaping our reality.
So even if something bad happens,
Yeah.
there's a reason for it.
Potentially, yes.
And that reason might be connected to something like deeper within us.
That's one way to look at it.
Okay.
You know, this principle, it operates on so many levels. Physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual.
Whoa.
And it's not always about finding this direct linear cause and effect.
Okay.
It's more about recognizing that our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions, they're all creating ripples, right, in the pond of our lives.
Yeah.
And those ripples can sometimes create unexpected outcomes.
So it's like a cosmic game of billiards.
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
Except we're all playing at the same time.
Wow, that's a powerful image.
It is.
This is making me think about the concept of karma. Is that like related to the principle of cause and effect?
Absolutely. Karma is essentially the idea that every action generates a force of energy that returns to us in some form.
Okay.
It's not about like punishment or reward.
Right.
It's about balance.
Okay.
A universal balancing act.
Wow. That's a really powerful perspective.
Yeah.
So if we want to create like a more positive and fulfilling reality, we need to become way more conscious of the seeds we're planting with our thoughts and our words and actions.
Absolutely. The principle of cause and effect empowers us to take responsibility for our lives.
Okay.
And become conscious creators.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Good. It's a good place to be.
This principle is definitely one to contemplate.
It is.
What's the final principle?
Okay. Last but not least,
That's going to complete our exploration of like the Hermetic system.
we have the principle of gender,
Okay.
which, as we mentioned earlier, is often misunderstood.
Right.
It's not about biological sex or societal gender roles.
Okay.
It's about the interplay of masculine and feminine energies that exist within every being and throughout the universe.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
All right, so think of it like the yin and yang symbol.
I love that symbol.
Yeah, you know, those two seemingly opposite forces that are actually complementary and necessary for wholeness.
Okay.
So the masculine principle is associated with action, a direction, outward expression,
Okay.
while the feminine principle is more about receptivity, nurturing, and an inward focus.
So it's like the seed needs fertile ground to grow, right?
Exactly.
Like the seed is the masculine energy and the soil is the feminine.
You got it.
Wow.
Both energies are essential for creation and manifestation.
Wow. This is making me think about my own life.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I get so caught up in like doing and achieving that I totally forget to like nurture myself or even allow myself to like receive.
That's a really common experience. A lot of us are conditioned to overemphasize that masculine principle of doing and striving
Right.
while neglecting the feminine principle of being and receiving.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the key is to find the balance.
The balance point.
That allows both of those energies to flourish.
This has been an incredible journey through those first like 7 principles.
It is a lot to take in.
It is. I'm already starting to see the world and myself.
Yeah.
in a whole new light.
That's the goal.
But I have a feeling there's, like, even more to explore.
Oh, there's always more.
So what awaits us in part 2 of this deep dive?
Well, stay tuned, because we'll be diving deeper into the practical applications of these principles and exploring how you can actually use them to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
Yeah, I love that. Okay.
Until then,
Yes.
keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep expanding that awareness.
Awesome. I'm excited for part 2.
Me too.
Welcome back, deep divers. I don't know about you, but those first 4 Hermetic principles, they're still buzzing around in my head. Yeah, they're pretty powerful, huh?
Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity. It's got a whole new way of looking at reality.
It's like an upgrade for your operating system.
Totally. Okay. I am strapped in and ready for more.
All right, let's do it.
What's next on our cosmic itinerary?
Let's flow right into the principle of rhythm.
Okay.
This one might be the most relatable of them all.
Okay.
It reminds us that everything in the universe moves in cycles,
Oh, yeah. Ebb and flow.
like waves in the ocean.
Expansion, contraction.
Exactly.
It's like the universe is constantly breathing.
It's like a giant breath. Yeah,
We see it in nature all the time, right?
absolutely.
The changing seasons, the tides.
The cycles of day and night.
And it's happening within us, too.
Yes, within us as well.
Our energy levels, our emotions, even our creativity.
It all ebbs and flows.
It's so funny how we often resist those natural cycles, you know?
We do. We fight against it.
Like we try to force ourselves to be productive.
Right, all the time.
And on all the time.
Yeah, gotta be on. Or we get stuck in a rut and we're like, why can't I break free?
It's a common struggle.
And that's where I think understanding the principle of rhythm can be so helpful.
So helpful because it reminds you that those ups and downs are not only natural, but they're necessary.
They're necessary. Wow.
They're part of the dance.
Oh, I love that.
The dance of life.
So instead of fighting against the current,
Yeah.
we can learn to ride the waves.
Ride those waves. Surrender to the flow.
I'm all for less resistance and more ease.
Me too. Sign me up.
But how do we actually apply this principle in real life?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
Like when I'm feeling super low energy,
Right.
it's hard to just, go with the flow.
It's not always easy, and that's where mindfulness comes in.
Okay, mindfulness.
It's about becoming aware of those internal rhythms so you can anticipate them and work with them.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, for example, let's say, you have a slump in energy mid-afternoon.
Yeah, almost every day.
Right. You can schedule your most demanding tasks for the morning
Oh, that's smart.
and then reserve the afternoon for lighter activities.
So it's not about ignoring those cycles, but working with them intelligently.
Exactly. Working with them, not against them.
Okay, are there any other practices that can help us tune into those natural rhythms?
Oh, absolutely. Spending time in nature is one of the best ways
Oh, I love that.
to reconnect with those rhythms of life.
Yeah.
Observe the cycles of the seasons, the ebb and flow of the tides, the rising and setting of the sun.
It's like nature's giving us a master class in how to flow with life.
It's the best teacher, right?
Okay, I'm feeling more grounded and centered already.
I love it. That's the goal.
All right, so what's the next principle that's going to help us navigate this cosmic journey?
Okay, now we're moving into the realm of personal responsibility.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
This is the principle of cause and effect.
All right, let's talk about it.
This one brings up a lot of questions.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And even some controversy.
For sure, it's the one that says every action has a consequence, right?
That's right.
No accidents, no coincidences.
Exactly.
Wow.
And while that may seem simple on the surface,
Yeah.
it gets a lot deeper when you consider the multiple levels of cause and effect that are at play.
Okay, multiple levels. Break that down for me.
All right, so think about this. You touch a hot stove, you get burned.
Okay.
Pretty clear cause and effect,
Yeah,
right?
immediate, yeah.
But what about the things in life that feel less clear-cut?
Okay.
Like a sudden illness, a job loss, a relationship that ends unexpectedly?
Right. Those are the times when it's easy to feel like, why is this happening to me?
Absolutely. You feel like a victim of circumstance.
Totally.
And that's totally valid to feel that way.
Yeah.
But the principle of cause and effect invites us to look a little deeper.
Okay, deeper. I like it.
Like what thoughts, beliefs, even past experiences
Past experiences, okay.
might be contributing to our current situation.
So are you saying that on some level we're responsible for everything that happens to us?
Well, that can be a tough one to accept, right?
It is.
But it's not about blame or guilt.
Okay, good.
It's about recognizing that we're not just passive observers in our lives.
Right.
We are active participants in shaping our reality.
Okay, so even if something bad happens,
Yeah,
there's a reason for it.
there could be. Yeah.
And that reason might be connected to something deeper within us.
It's possible. This principle operates on so many levels.
Okay.
Physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual.
Whoa, that's a lot of levels.
It's multi-layered, right? And it's not always about finding a direct linear cause and effect.
Okay.
It's more about recognizing that our thoughts and beliefs and actions, they're creating these ripples in the pond of our lives.
Okay, I like that visual.
And those ripples can create unexpected outcomes.
So it's like a cosmic game of billiards.
Totally.
But we're all playing at the same time.
Exactly. All those balls bouncing around.
Whoa. Okay, that is a powerful image.
It's a lot to take in.
This makes me think about the concept of karma.
Yeah.
Is that related to the principle of cause and effect?
Absolutely. It goes hand in hand. Karma is basically the idea that every action generates a force of energy that returns to us in some form.
Oh, wow.
It's not about punishment or reward. Remember that?
Okay. No punishment or reward.
It's about balance, a universal balancing act.
Wow. That's a really powerful perspective.
It is.
So if we want to create a more positive and fulfilling reality, we need to become way more conscious of the seeds that we're planting.
Absolutely. The principle of cause and effect empowers us to take responsibility for our lives and become conscious creators.
I love that, conscious creator.
We have the power.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Good. It's good to stretch those mental muscles.
What is the final principle?
Last but not least,
that completes our exploration of the Hermetic system.
We have the principle of gender.
Okay, yes, this is the one that I think a lot of people might have some preconceived notions about.
For sure, and it's often misunderstood. Remember, it's not about biological sex.
Right.
Or societal gender roles.
Right.
It's about the interplay of masculine and feminine energies that exist within every being.
Okay, and throughout the universe.
Yes, it's a universal principle.
All right, remind me again how those energies play out in our lives.
Okay, so think of it this way. The masculine principle is the driving force, the initiator, the builder.
Okay.
Associated with logic, action, outward expression.
Okay, makes sense.
The feminine principle is the receptive force, the nurturer, the creative wellspring.
Oh.
It's about intuition, emotion, inward focus.
So it's like two sides of the same coin, both essential for wholeness and creation.
Exactly. You need both.
We were talking about polarity, and it's not about one being better than the other.
Not at all.
It's about finding the balance.
Balance is key.
This makes me think about how we often associate certain qualities with being, like masculine or feminine.
Yeah, society puts things in boxes.
But in reality, we all possess both energies within us.
We do. It's about recognizing both within yourself.
So it's not about being more masculine or more feminine.
Right.
It's about embracing the full spectrum of who we are.
That's it. Finding that wholeness.
So how do we actually cultivate that balance in our lives?
Yeah.
Like, are there any practices or techniques that we can use?
It starts with awareness. Becoming aware of which energy is more dominant in your life right now.
Okay, so self-awareness is key.
So, for example, are you constantly on the go, pushing yourself to achieve, neglecting your own needs for rest?
Okay, yeah.
That might be a sign you're overemphasizing the masculine.
Makes sense.
Or maybe you're spending too much time in your head, overthinking everything, not taking enough action.
Right.
That could be a sign that the feminine is a little too dominant at the moment.
So once we have a sense of where we're at,
Yeah.
we can start to experiment with practices that help us bring those energies into balance.
Exactly. Finding that equilibrium.
Okay, so if I'm feeling overly masculine,
Yeah.
in that achieving energy,
Right. Got to get things done.
I might try incorporating more nurturing and restorative activities.
Yes.
Things like, taking a bath,
Nice long bath.
spending time in nature.
Yeah.
Or even just allowing myself to do nothing.
The art of doing nothing. So important.
And if I'm feeling overly feminine, I might challenge myself to take more action.
Yes. Get out of your head and into the world.
Set some clear goals.
Yes. Love it.
Step outside of my comfort zone.
Exactly. A little bit of discomfort can lead to growth.
So it's all about finding that dynamic equilibrium.
Finding that sweet spot.
Where both energies can support each other and create like a sense of wholeness and flow.
You got it.
Wow. This has been an incredibly insightful journey through the 7 Hermetic principles.
It's been a whirlwind.
I feel like I've gained a whole new toolbox for understanding myself and the world around me.
I hope so. That's the intention.
What have been some of your key takeaways from this exploration?
For me, it always comes back to remembering that we're not just passive observers in our lives. We're active participants.
Yeah.
We have so much more power and potential than we often realize.
Oh, we do, yeah.
And these principles are tools that we can use to create a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
I love that it's like we've been given a secret decoder ring for the universe.
That's a great way to put it.
But the real magic happens when we actually start to use it.
Absolutely. Knowledge without application is like a seed that never gets planted.
Okay, so true, so true.
So, dear listeners, I encourage you, take these principles, experiment with them.
Yes, experiment.
See how they can work in your own life.
Which principles resonate with you the most?
Yeah, which ones stand out?
How can you start to integrate them into your daily routine?
That's the key. Daily practice.
Yeah, share your thoughts and insights in the comments below.
Let's keep the conversation going.
And while you're at it, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Tantra Quest for more deep dives into fascinating topics.
Yes, hit that subscribe button.
And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future explorations.
We'll be back with more mind-blowing stuff.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep shining your light.